The stars outside Veltrix 7 station looked calm, quiet, and peaceful. For centuries, this remote observation post had sat on the edge of Sector I-4, watching nothing. The crew often joked that the only thing more lifeless than this part of space was the cafeteria food. Captain Sora Ven, a tall and tired-looking Ilarian officer, leaned over the main console. Her skin was a soft silver blue, eyes glowing faintly like soft plasma. She had worked here for over 18 cycles. Nothing exciting had ever happened until today. A soft beep echoed through the chamber. At first no one noticed, then it beeped again. Louder this time. Unknown mass detected. The station AI said calmly. Captain Sora didn't even lift her head. Probably debris again. Log it and correction, the AI interrupted. Controlled trajectory. Large. 48,000 meters long. Engine signature. Unknown. That made her freeze. She turned slowly to face the main screen. The station's sensors had caught something massive, too large for a cargo ship, too quiet for a cruiser, too direct for a random traveler. Bring it up, she ordered. The screen lit up. At first, it was only darkness. Then, something moved, a shadow cutting across the starlight. No engine trails, no beacon lights, no communication signals. It's just a giant shape, black and cold, moving silently across space like a ghost. What? The void is that, whispered Lieutenant Caro, standing behind her. Captain Sora stared at the object. Something about it felt wrong, very wrong. Like it didn't belong to this galaxy. Like it came from a time when stars still burned hot with rage and war. Try to hail it, she said. Karo sent a standard contact ping. No response. He tried again. Still nothing. It's ignoring us, he said. No, Sora said. Slowly, it doesn't care. Then the AI's voice spoke again, but this time it wasn't calm. Red alert. Classification match found. Ancient human vessel signature. Codename, Revenant. Caro turned pale. Did it say human? That's impossible, Sora whispered. Humans were gone. Dead. Their empire had collapsed over. 10,000 years ago, no human ships remained. No colonies, no beacons, not even bones. The Revenant was a myth, a ghost story, but it was real. It was moving toward them. Send immediate warning to Central Command, she said. Include all sensor data. Don't wait for authorization. The crew worked quickly, tension rising in the air like pressure before a storm. Sora kept her eyes on the screen. The object, no. The warship was still moving. Slowly, quietly, with purpose. Then something strange happened. The stars around it began to dim. Not because of the ship's shadow, but as if light itself was avoiding the area. The crew noticed. Silence filled the control room. Sir, Caro said, voice trembling, I think it's cloaking the space around it, not just itself. It's bending reality. That wasn't possible. And yet, there it was. Then the coms crackled. A sound, not a voice, not language, just a low, deep hum. Like an old machine waking up from a very long sleep. Suddenly the lights on the station flickered. EMP. Sora shouted. Unknown effect, the AI responded. System stable. For now, the humming got louder. Then it stopped, and for a full minute, nothing happened. Just silence. Then the warship turned. Not its engines, not its thrusters. It simply rotated in space. Its front now pointed directly at Veltrix 7. Why is it aiming at us? Caro asked. Sora stepped forward, her hand shaking slightly. Get the defense grid online. It's already charging weapons, Caro said. But, Captain, I don't think that matters. The sensors showed energy readings, massive ones, building inside the ship. Then a line of red light formed across the warship's hull, just one thin glowing line. Like an eye-opening after centuries, then a beam of pure, silent energy. Shot out, it didn't explode. It didn't scream. It just erased. Half of Veltrix 7's outer ring disappeared in a blink. No fire.
Oh.
No debris. No resistance. Just gone. The station shook. Alarms blared. The crew panicked. Sora tried to shout over the noise. Eject escape pods. Send out the beacon. Kara was already moving. It's jamming everything. Can another beam. This time, the communications array vanished. The crew had seconds. Sora grabbed a portable recorder. If anyone finds this ship, it's not a legend. It's not extinct. The humans, they left something behind. Something built for war. It doesn't speak. It doesn't answer. It just destroys. Kara looked at her. Captain, what? Is it? She stared into the blackness of space. The giant ship now hovered silently again, as if nothing had happened. I think it's a warning, she said. Something they left behind in case the galaxy ever forgot who they were. The third beam fired. The station vanished 2 days later. A merchant ship passing through Sector I-4 picked up something strange, a small data recorder floating among drifting ice. No life signs, no wreckage. Just that one black box, blinking red. The merchant captain turned it in to the nearest planetary. Stationed the footage inside shocked the council. They argued for hours. Others said it was a trick by rival empires, but the sensor data was real, and so was the name attached to the ships. ID signal, Revenant class, human warship, do not approach. They classified the file, buried the evidence, and prayed it wouldn't. Come closer. But it already had, because in the deep corners of uncharted space, the Revenant moved again. One slow turn, one new target. Another star system blinked on its path, and the red alert echoed once more. The Galactic High Council sat in a towering hall made of crystal and alloy. Deep inside the core world of Zithran Prime, the ceiling displayed a live projection of star systems, each glowing with the life and power of 1 billion species. But today, the stars looked dimmer. Councillor Velron of the Vokari Republic stood at the center platform. He held a single small device in his hand, the recovered black box from VELTRIX-7. The chamber was silent. He activated it. A red light blinked. The hologram displayed the last few minutes of Veltrix 7's existence. The alien warship, the one now identified as human, was clear on the screen. Its shadow stretched across the stars. The destruction it caused was undeniable. Several council members gasped as they watched the energy beam erase a part of the station. This cannot be real, whispered Councillor Trellis of the Mindari Union. The humans are extinct. Their last planet turned to ash long ago. Alrun's voice was cold, and yet this ship moves. It does not talk, does not negotiate, it only destroys. Councillor Zeverax of the Tharn Empire stood up sharply. His red scales shimmered with irritation. Perhaps this is a trick by the Kelsari Dominion. They want us divided. Another councillor, Yanni, of the Jalari Swarm, spoke softly. The Kelsari do not have this kind of technology. No one does. This ship, it erased a structure with a single beam. No energy buildup, no warning. Just gone. Chancellor Virel, the oldest and most powerful voice in the council, finally spoke. His voice echoed across the hall. What is the name of this ship? Velron hesitated. The Revenant. Gasps again. That name was not unknown. Legend spoke of the Terran Revenant class, a type of ship humanity only used once. A war vessel so powerful that it was sent to end wars, not fight them. A ship that appeared, leveled everything, and disappeared again, but that was just myth. It's a ghost ship, someone whispered. No, Velron said. It's real. Varel sat back, his hands folded. Where is the ship now? We do not know. Gone. It vanished from all sensors. But before it did, it fired 3 times. Each shot removed a piece of the Veltrix station as if it never existed. Councillor Trellis stepped forward, shaking. We must alert the sectors, raise defense levels, send a warning across the galaxy. Zevrax growled. No, we will not cause panic over a ghost. The humans are gone. This is a remnant, a drifting shell, Maybe some ancient AI malfunctioning. We can destroy it, can you? Velryn asked calmly. Did you not see the footage? Zevrax hissed, then went quiet. Yanni spoke next. Even if we believe it's malfunctioning, what if it's not? What if it's doing exactly what it was designed to do? The question hung in the air. What was it designed to do? Silence fell again. Chancellor Virel nodded slowly. We must decide. Do we tell the galaxy the truth, or do we bury this information? Whispers broke out. Panic was close. Velron looked around the hall. We cannot hide this. Wait, if we lie, the Revenant will come again. Next time it won't just erase a station. It could erase a moon, a planet, a fleet. But many counselors were afraid. We are too close to the Unity Festival, said one. Billions are traveling between systems. If this gets out, chaos will follow, said another. Virel finally made his decision. Seal the file. Level 9 encryption. Only fleet admirals and high-security branches may access it. Velron stared at him in disbelief. You're making the same mistake they made 10,000 years ago. Virel didn't blink. Then we will prepare silently, quietly. If this ship returns, we will deal with it. But we will not spread fear. The council voted. The decision passed. The warning from Veltrix 7 was buried. 2 sectors away, the Revenant glided silently near the edge of a dense nebula. Surface reflected nothing. Its systems made no sound. Inside, deep within its armored belly, thousands of ancient machines worked with perfect precision. The ship had no bridge, no crew, only PURPOSEA single AI controlled it. One that had not spoken in over 10,000 years. Its orders were written in a code no modern language could break. It moved again. Meanwhile, Admiral Thera Quinn of the Zithran Defense Armada sat alone in her chamber, watching the footage again. And again, she had seen war. She had commanded fleets against pirates, rogue AI, and enemy species. But she had never seen anything like the Revenant. She paused the footage at the moment the red beam fired. Zoomed in on the ship's markings. Symbols. Strange. Sharp patterns, ancient Terran. Her own grandfather had spoken about the old Earth war machines before he died. He called them the sleeping devils. Machines that were never turned off. Just sealed. She had thought they were stories. Now, she wasn't so sure. Thera opened a secure channel. Activate Operation Eclipse Protocol. Right. I want all long-range sensors redirected toward uncharted systems in Sector I-4. Do not ask questions. Do not log this command in the main report. Oh. Her officer on the other end hesitated. Yes, ma'am. She leaned back, eyes heavy. If the Revenant is awake, she whispered, then the galaxy is already too late. On the far edge of Council space, on a peaceful planet called Rivka, a young alien child looked up at the stars. He pointed to a new dot in the sky. Papa, what's that? His father looked up and smiled. Just a starship, son, probably visiting. The light didn't move like a normal ship. It didn't blink or rotate. It hovered. Then, as quickly as it appeared, it vanished, like it had never been there. But deep underground, the old sensors of Rivka's forgotten planetary defenses blinked. Awake for the first time in 700 years, target acquired. The Zithran Defense Armada was considered one of the strongest in the galaxy. Over 9,000 ships, 500 battlecruisers, dozens of dreadnoughts, and the crown jewel, Vindicator 1, a supercarrier so large that moons could dock on its wings. Admiral Thera Quinn stood on its bridge, staring at the holographic display. She had spent 2 sleepless nights watching footage of the Revenant. And now it was moving again. Not a rumor. Not a ghost. 3 deep space beacons had gone dark in less than an hour. No explosion, no debris, no escape signal. Just silence. We traced the path, her first officer said. It's headed straight for the core line. At this speed, reached the colony world of Dravik in 31 hours. Thera stared at the map. Dravik was not a military world. It was a farm planet. Millions of civilians. No planetary defense grid. We need to intercept it before it gets there, she said. Dispatch Fleet Group Gamma to hold position. We'll follow with the primary force. But ma'am, the officer said, the council hasn't approved this move. We'd be acting without orders. Thera turned toward him slowly. They won't believe us until they see the destruction for themselves. But by then, it will be too late. The officer nodded. The fleet began to move far away. Fleet Group Gamma arrived first. They were made up of 22 ships, fast cruisers, support craft, and one small command carrier. Commander Reth Talon was in charge. He was confident. He believed in numbers, and he didn't believe in ghost stories. He stood on his bridge, looking out the front viewport. His second-in-command, a young female named Sari, studied the scanner. Still no contact? Reth asked. None, she replied. But sensors are acting strange. They're static on frequencies that are usually clean. Could be the nebula interference? Could be, she said. But I don't think it is. Then it appeared. No sound, no flash, just there. A shadow against the stars. The Revenant Reth narrowed his eyes. That's it. Speak. Her hands shook. It's massive, she whispered. The ship floated there, not moving, not responding. Send standard greeting. Then prepare firing sequence. Reth ordered. Sorry, hesitated. Sir, maybe we shouldn't do it. A transmission was sent. No reply. Fire warning shot. Just to let it know we see it. One of the cruisers fired a plasma bolt. It struck the Revenant's side and vanished. No shield reaction. No hull damage. Nothing like the shot had disappeared. Into a hole in space. Reth frowned. Direct hit. Why no damage? Then their screens went black for 2 seconds. When they returned, 2 ships were gone. Completely. No explosion. No escape pods. No debris. Just gone. Sari screamed. There. Not destroyed. They're erased. All ships prepare full attack, Reth shouted now. The fleet fired. Dozens of blasts lit up the space. Still, no effect. The Revenant didn't move. Then its red line appeared again. A glowing slit down its center. A single hum began. To rise low, steady, terrifying, then dash one red beam. 4 ships vanished. Screams echoed across the fleet. All ships retreat. Reth cried. Too late, another beam. This time, command carrier's left wing was simply gone. Reth floated as the emergency shutters came down and fire exploded behind him. Alarms screamed. We're not fighting it, he whispered. We're not even annoying it. Admiral Thera Quinn received the emergency ping an hour later. Fleet Group Gamma. Lost no survivors, no sensor logs after the first beam. She stared at the data, hands tight behind her back. It's not just a weapon, she said. It's a message. Hercom's officer spoke. The Revenant has changed course again. It's not heading for Dravik anymore. She frowned. Then where? He hesitated. It's coming toward us. Everyone on the bridge went silent. Thera gave the order. Send full signal. All ships red alert. Prepare for confrontation. If this is where we make our stand, so be it. The Zitharan armada lined up across open space. Just outside the Gadron belt, over 800 ships formed a giant wall, stretching across 1,000,000 kilometers. Drones flew, shields charged. Fighters launched. It was a beautiful, terrifying sight. Then the Revenant appeared. One moment, nothing the next. It was simply there alone. Unmover. Smaller ships scanned it. Structure is strange. Armor is not metal. It's organic. No, it's older than metal. It's something else. Thera's voice echoed through the fleet. Open fire. They did. A rain of plasma railgun rounds. And energy blasts lit the sky. For 5 straight minutes they fired, and the Revenant didn't even flinch then. It spoke. Not in words, not in sound, but across every system in the fleet. A single line. appeared on every screen. You were warned. You chose silence. This is correction. Then the sky turned red. The Revenant fired. Not beams this time, but something worse. From its sides, glowing red orbs launched forward. It didn't explode. They passed through ships like shadows, and every ship they touched went silent. No systems, no life, no movement. Just dead, Thera shouted. Shield modulation. Rotate frequencies. But nothing worked. One by one, the Zithran ships shut down, as if life itself was being drained. Still, the Revenant didn't move. It didn't need to. Admiral Thera stood on the bridge of Vindicator 1, watching the last of her cruisers go dark. We were never ready, she said. Then her own lights flickered. She closed her eyes. Hours later, a single drone recorded the battlefield. Thousands of ships floating like frozen statues. No flames, no pieces, no resistance. Just stillness. And at the center of it all, it's the Revenant turning once again, searching for the next system, the next correction. Far away from the destroyed fleet, beyond the Council's reach, there was a small world named Varela. Varela was peaceful. It had no weapons, no military, just mountains, green skies, and soft rain that fell in spirals. It was known as a sanctuary. World, a place where war was banned. People from across the galaxy came here to hide, to heal, or to forget. Now, they were trying to hide from something far worse than war. A signal had reached them, a broken fragment from the Zithran fleet. Before they went silent, a word repeated again and again: Revenant. The leaders of Varela gathered inside their underground city. The surface was already abandoned. Governor Sale, a tall insectoid being, paced in front of the glowing map. We must remain silent, he said. If we do not move, if we do not send signals, the Revenant will not find us. But it found the Zithran fleet, said a small reptilian scholar, and they were hidden in deep space. We are not a threat. It only attacks warships and Veltrix 7. It was a civilian station. The room fell silent. Everyone knew the truth. The Revenant didn't care about type or purpose. It moved with one goal: correction. And no one knew what that truly meant. Above the planet, hidden inside the asteroid belt, was a listening post. Post 7-Rho. It wasn't much. Just 3 crew members, a long-range scanner, and a warning system operator. Kin was watching the screens. He yawned. Nothing ever happened here. Then one of the red dots blinked, disappeared, then another, then all power flickered. He leaned closer. A shape appeared. Not a ship, not a comet, just a black void moving against the stars. No light, no echo, just absence. He pressed the panic button. Governor Sale received the alert. 5 minutes later, they had always thought they were safe. Now, the Revenant was coming. How long? He asked. 3 hours at current speed. Sale gave the order. Shut down every transmitter. Cut power to surface cities. Block all scans. We become a ghost world now. But what if it finds us anyway? Sale hesitated, then answered, Then we pray silence is enough. In orbit, the Revenant slowed. It didn't fire, didn't scan, didn't land. It simply floated above the planet like a silent moon. Every living being on Varela held their breath. 1 minute, 2:10. Then an ancient signal pulsed from the Revenant. Not toward the world, but straight into the crust. A coded pulse, thousands of years old. Varela's soil answered, not with words, but with light. A gotten response from deep underground, from a time before the Council, from a war long buried. The Revenant paused, and for the first time, it descended. Panic broke out. The underground cities began to shake. Sirens, which hadn't sounded in centuries, wailed again. Governor Sale stared in horror as the wall display showed the Revenant entering the atmosphere slowly, steadily. Unstoppable. It knows, someone whispered. It was never random, said another. It was always tracking something, Sale shouted, "Seal the core vault." But it was too late. The vault door cracked open on its own, not broken, but unlocked. From outside, inside the vault was a machine, old, covered in dust. No one knew its purpose. It had been there since the first settlers came. They were told never to touch it. Now it pulsed with red light, just like the renamed. The machine spoke, one line in ancient Terran language, auto-translated by every COM device. "You were warned." The ground trembled. Then, silence. No explosions. No screams. Just the sound of air shifting like the planet itself had exhaled above. The Revenant turned and left. Cell stood in shock. "It didn't destroy us," he said. "No," a technician answered. "It came for the vault." Whatever that machine was. It belonged to the same time as the Revenant. But why here, maybe? This was one of the original seed worlds. Seed, the technician nodded. Worlds left behind by humans. Before they vanished, silent worlds. The old tech buried deep. Then what happens next? The technician stared upward. "We're not a target anymore, we're a memory." 2 days later, the Galactic Council received a message. It wasn't from Varela. It was from the Revenant. One sentence. Sent across secure military frequencies. "You buried your sins in the quietest worlds. I will uncover them all." The council panicked. In secret rooms, ancient records were opened. There were 47 other worlds like Varela. Worlds the council knew about. Worlds where humans had hidden powerful technology before vanishing. Worlds the council had claimed, and then silenced if the Revenant was moving between them, and time was running out. Admiral Theraquin, now in hiding after surviving the fall of Vindicator 1, received the same message. She looked at the coordinates. She recognized some of the worlds. She whispered to herself, "This isn't war anymore. It's judgment." Far from all this, on a junk world covered in broken ships, a young scavenger named Tavi found something strange buried beneath a metal hill. Human helmet. Still glowing, still active. He held it in his hands. It whispered unit. Awakened, awaiting orders. And then, the stars above turned red. The junk world of Draskin 12 was a place most had forgotten. It was filled with broken machines, dead ships, and piles of metal that stretched for miles. The sky was always dark, and the wind carried the sound of creaking steel. No one lived there except scavengers, and Tavi was one of them. He was only 17 cycles old, barely taller than the engine core he dragged behind him. But he was smart, fast, careful. He never went near the deep zone, a place even old scavengers avoided. But that day, something changed. Tavi followed a red flicker deep into the zone, a soft glow buried under piles of wreckage. What he found was not junk. It was ancient. A human helmet, silver, smooth, untouched by rust. It blinked once, then whispered in a voice that made his skin freeze. Unit awakened, awaiting orders. Tavi dropped the helmet and stepped back. The ground beneath him trembled. A pulse of red light shot into the sky from the helmet's center, vanishing into the clouds. Tavi grabbed the helmet again. "Hello?" he whispered. "What are you?" No reply. Just another whisper, code fragment found, initiating retrieval. He didn't know what that meant, but he knew one thing: something had just seen him. Above the junk world, in the cold of space, a ghost ship floated. No one knew its name. No, they'd seen it enter the system. It didn't belong to any fleet. It had no markings, no engines. But it moved, the REVEN. It turned slowly, began its descent toward Dr. Esken-12. Back on the planet, Tavi ran. He didn't know where to go. There were no real shelters, just broken holes and half-dead machines. The helmet in his arms grew heavier, as if something inside it was waking up. Then, it spoke clearly. "Do not run. This world will not protect you." Tavi stopped. "I don't want to die," he said. You carry more than metal. You carry memory. What memory? But the helmet didn't explain. Instead, it flashed anew. Message across its visor. Message fragment located. Site AX91. That was the deep zone. TAVI looked toward it. No one goes there, he said softly. Then the sky turned red. From orbit, the Revenant fired. Not a weapon, but a signal. The ground shook as thousands of machines crossed Draskin, well-activated, dead drones, rusted tanks, long-forgotten cannons. They stood up, turned, and looked at Tavi. They weren't alive, but they were listening. The helmet's voice came again. They remember the war. And now, they remember you. Tavi ran faster than he ever had in his life. He ducked under falling towers of wreckage, dodged between collapsing holes. Old warbats turned their heads as he passed. Some followed, not to attack, but to follow. As if he was carrying a signal they hadn't heard in centuries. He reached Site AX91. It was a crater surrounded by crushed command stations. In the center, half buried under layers of steel and dust, was a pod, a black human escape pod, still locked. Still. Glowing Tav approached it slowly. The helmet blinked again. Code complete. Unlocking vault. The pod opened with a hiss. Inside was a man. But not just any man. He was in stasis. Wounds healed by old nanotech. Wires connected to his spine. His armor bore the symbol of something lost to history. The first human offensive. The helmet spoke. Commander Eli Kale, last surviving officer of the Revenant Protocol. Tavi stared. He's been asleep this whole time. He remembers the beginning. He carries the last command. Then the man's eyes opened. Eli Kale gasped and sat up, coughing. He looked around, then at Tavi. Where am I? Draskin 12. Tavi said, You've been asleep for a long time. Eli's face turned pale. The war? Is it over? No, it's coming back. The sky shook, thunder rolled, but there were no clouds. The Revenant had entered atmosphere. Eli looked. Up, then we don't have much time. Elsewhere in the galaxy, Admiral Theraquin received a stolen transmission from the old junk world. She watched the footage. A boy, a helmet, and a man waking from a pod that shouldn't exist. Her blood ran cold when she saw the armor. It's real, she whispered. The Revenant isn't acting on its own. It's following the protocol. Her aide asked, What protocol? She answered, The final failsafe. If humanity was ever erased, the Revenant would destroy anything that tried to bury their memory. Then why is it coming back now? Thera looked at the stars. Because someone somewhere just remembered. Back on Droskin Welf, Eli Kale limped to his feet. He looked at the machines rising around them. They're following me, Davy replied. They're following me. I activated the helmet. Eli frowned. Then that means the message is inside you. Message? Eli nodded. Before we vanished, humanity left behind fragments of warning. Carried in code, buried in machines, hidden in minds. You're one of them. But I'm not human. Doesn't matter. We're chosen to remember. The ground cracked. The Revenant was here, floating above the crater. Its red eye glowed. Eli raised a trembling hand. I never thought I'd see it again. You built it, Tavi asked. No, Eli said. We unleashed it. The Revenant didn't. Attack. It hovered waiting then for the first time. It spoke aloud through every device, every machine, every ship orbiting nearby. Message retrieved. Protocol near completion, awaiting final command. Eli stepped forward. He looked up at the sky. I am Commander Eli Kale. Authorization, Omega 7. The war ended. The enemy is gone. Stand down. A long silence. Then enemy signals still active. Correction must continue. What enemy? Tavi asked. Eli closed his eyes. Those who rewrote history. It's the ones who erased what we were. The Council. The Revenant slowly turned and left Doctor as Ken-12. It didn't fire. It didn't scan. It simply moved on. Tavi stared as it vanished into the stars. It listened. Eli nodded. For now? But it said protocol near completion. That means it's not done. No, Eli said. It's heading for the core worlds now. To finish what we started? Kevi asked. Can it be stopped? Eli didn't answer, because he didn't know. The stars above the core worlds had always glowed bright with peace. These were the richest planets, the most powerful home to the Galactic Council's command. They had fleets, shields, defenses, and across centuries. Nothing had ever broken them. Until now, the first to fall was Elith Prime. It was a capital of trade, guarded by 4 planetary rings and 87 orbital cannons. Its skies were full of ships. Civilian traffic, patrol fleets, automated mines. One moment it was quiet, then a tear opened in space. A black line, no sound, no warning, just a shadow. Arriving like the end of time, the end. It didn't speak, it simply hovered. Then, across all frequencies, it broadcast, "Your memory has been judged." In the next 10 seconds, the orbital rings turned red, not destroyed, but rewritten. Their systems shut down. Their own cannons turned inward. They fired on their creators. The planet went dark. Millions screamed, "No." Ships escaped. Elith Prime vanished. From every star chart, wiped from every database, as if it had never existed, the Galactic Council met in full emergency mode. Dozens of species, thousands of years of combined power, all staring at one image, the Revenant. Hovering above silence, Chancellor Var slammed the table. "This is a machine. We must stop it before it moves again," another ambassador whispered. "You don't understand. It doesn't just destroy, it erases. Our files no longer show Elith Prime. It's like the planet never was." A voice from the shadows said, "That's the point." He turned. It was Admiral Thera Quinn, still alive, still hunted. She dropped a hard drive on the council table. "This is what the humans built. A weapon to punish liars," the council growled. "You speak for ghosts?" "No," she said. "I speak for the truth they buried." The council reviewed the file. It showed what humanity had feared most. Erasure, not death, not war. That being forgotten when the ancient council first rose to power. They had rewritten history. They painted humans as monsters, then as myths, then as nothing. Humanity vanished. Some say by choice, others by force. But before leaving, they left behind a machine, the Revenant Protocol, a self-operating system that would awaken only when the lies became too loud. And now, it was awake the second. World to fall was Drancor, a fortress planet. Its entire crust was turned into a shielded city. It had defeated every past invasion. It was called the Unbreakable Wall. But when the Revenant arrived, it didn't break the wall. It walked through it. Systems shut down. Air turned heavy. Memories faded. The people forgot who they were. They screamed not from pain, but because they didn't know their own names. Then they simply stopped. No bodies, no wreckage, just silence. Another world erased. On Draskenwelv, Tavi and Eli watched the collapse from a stolen council stream. Tavi's hands trembled. It's not just killing them. It's removing them. Like deleting a file. Eli nodded. That's what it was designed to do. But why? Tavi asked. Because history matters, Eli said. And the council made sure no one remembered us. Not the wars, not the sacrifices, not even the warnings. Tavi looked up. And now it's making sure no one forgets. Eli stared at the glowing helmet Tavi had found. There's still one message left. The Revenant sent a final broadcast. Final protocol phase initiating. Seeding memory fragments across the galaxy. Truth will overwrite the lie. Wherever it went, it didn't just erase, it also planted something. Old human messages, images, voices, stories. They began appearing across. Far-off systems on stations, inside old machines, carved into asteroids. The message was always the same. We're here, we remember. Do you? Back at the council chambers, panic ruled. All ships were recalled. Every defense system was put on maximum alert. The council ordered the vortex array to fire an illegal weapon that could collapse entire star systems. They aimed it at the Revenant's last location. But when they fired, nothing happened. The coordinates had changed. The system no longer existed. The weapon fired at nothing. The council screamed in fear. Because now, the Revenant wasn't just deleting planets. It was removing stars. Meanwhile, survivors began whispering of strange sightings. Human ships, old ones, appearing briefly, then vanishing, not attacking, just watching. Some believed it was ghosts. Others said the humans were returning. But Admiral Theraquin had a different belief. They were never gone, she said. They were just waiting. A secret chamber far below the council world. A red warning light blinked. A vault that hadn't been opened in 10,000 years cracked. Inside was a file. One word written on the casing. Judgment. And inside, coordinates to Earth. For 10,000 years, Earth was silent. No signals, no ships, no trade. Most believed it was dead. Some said it had burned. Others said it never existed at all. But far beyond the edge of the mapped galaxy, in a quiet system that no star charts marked, Earth remained hidden, sleeping, waiting until the signal came, the one that started it all. The Revenant's final phase had triggered something deep beneath Earth's crust, and now, the planet woke on the council world of Aerolis. Panic spread. Every day brought a new mystery. Entire planets erased. Stars gone from memory. History rewritten in real time, and now, a file had surfaced. One locked away since before the council's first meeting. It was marked with one word. Earth only. Few knew what it meant. And those few were now silent. Dead. Missing. Vanished. The remaining council leaders stared at the coordinates with trembling claws and tendrils. One dared to whisper, "Do we strike it now?" Another replied, "If it wakes, we all fall." They didn't realize it was already awake. In the dark sky above Earth, a veil of ancient technology shimmered and died. Cloaking fields that had hidden the planet for thousands of years flickered out, revealing a blue and green world untouched by war. But deep under the surface, machines stirred, old war factories lit up, vaults unlocked, satellites launched silently. Earth didn't shout. It didn't roar. It simply opened its eyes and remembered. Everything. On Draskenwelf, Tavi and Eli Kale saw the feed. It was just a flicker. At first, a planet lighting up on ancient maps that hadn't shown it in ages. Tab pointed at the screen. "Is that?" "Yes," Eli said softly. "That's home. But Earth's gone. That's what the records say." Eli shook his head. "Records lie. Earth hides. Why now?" Eli's voice was quiet. "Because the time has come. The Revenant did its job. It brought the memory back. Now Earth will do the rest." Earth's atmosphere rippled with activity. But no fleets launched. No armies marched instead. One small ship rose. It was black, sharp, silent. No markings. No transponder. It slipped into space and vanished. Its destination, the Council's capital, aborted. It was a human. The first one seen in over 10,000 years. Her name was Commander Ava Rook. The Council saw the ship approach. No weapons, no escort. They scrambled fleets, formed walls of destroyers, but the ship didn't attack. It simply broadcast a message on every channel. "This is Earth. You erased us. Now we return with memory, not vengeance." The Council hesitated. No demands. War threats? Just memory? Then the ship stopped and released a pulse. It wasn't a weapon. It was a signal. A wave of raw data-censored human history. The truth flooded every screen. Wars, sacrifices, alliances. It's broken, the betrayal by the Council, the lies that erased Earth from galactic records. and the warning they gave before vanishing: if memory dies, galaxy dies with it. All over the galaxy, chaos erupted. Citizens questioned everything. Protests turned violent. Whole civilizations now realized that Earth wasn't a myth. It was the foundation of everything, and it had been betrayed. Meanwhile, the Revenant hovered on the edge of known space, watching its purpose nearly complete, but not yet. One final step remained. One last world. The Council homeworld. Inside the chamber, the Council split. Some wanted peace. Others called for Earth's destruction, but their weapons failed, their signals jammed, their fleets dashed missing. Every force they tried to deploy vanished. The same two words echoed through every system: memory reclaimed. And then the Revenant arrived. It did not fire. It did not speak. It simply waited for Earth's commander. Avaruk stood alone before the Council, unescheded. She placed an ancient human artifact on the floor, a small cube, glowing with soft blue light. "This contains the truth," she said. "Our truth. It's not what you wrote, but what we lived." The Council leader snarled, "You think stories can undo history?" Ava looked him in the eye. "No, but the truth can rewrite it." She tapped the cube. It opened. Inside was a hologram. A voice echoed. It was old, broken, tired, but unmistakably human. "To those who forget us, we forgive you. To those who erased us, we do not." The hologram turned into a storm of images: battles, sacrifices, children smiling, ruins rebuilt, friends lost, the entire history of Earth. Then silence. The Council leader trembled. "What do you want?" Ava didn't answer. She turned. Left behind her, the Revenant powered down. Its mission complete. Across the stars, the effect was instant. Planets began to remember. Old files returned. Statues long hidden were unearthed. Human spread like fire, like light. Earth had returned. Not to conquer, not to destroy, but to remind in the silence of space. The Revenant sent its final message: memory secured. Awaiting new directive. Earth replied, "Sleep now. We will remember." With that, the Revenant powered off. Not dead, just resting, until it was needed again. The galaxy was ready for war. Every world had heard the truth about Earth, about the betrayal, about the lies. And yet, there was no invasion, no fleet of human warships, no demand from Earth, only silence. And memory, it confused everyone, because they expected vengeance. They expected Earth to rise with fire. But Earth had returned, with patience, and that was more terrifying than any weapon in the high chambers of the Galactic Council. Fear spread like wildfire. They had been exposed. The people knew the lies were collapsing. But no one came to punish them. No human army, no judgment. Just waiting. And the waiting was worse than any battle, because it forced them to look at themselves, to question everything. And slowly their world began to fall apart from the inside. Ambassador Reth, a proud member of the old council, stood before a quiet crowd. He trembled. "Why don't they attack?" he asked. An aide whispered, "Because they already won." He didn't understand until he looked outside. On every screen, in every home, people were watching old human messages, listening to human music, learning lost human languages, and remembering not because they were forced, but because they wanted to, far from the council world. On a planet named Volrix, a teacher named Mara played a strange video in her class. It was grainy, old. The voice was human, telling a story of sacrifice and courage, of a time when the stars were wild and Earth had sent explorers, not conquerors. The children watched. Wide-eyed, they asked questions. They didn't care about the council's version of history. They believed the voice. They believed the story. And so, the truth spread. On Earth, no celebration was held. No fleets launched. The humans simply continued to wake in deep cities. Underground, in stations hidden behind gas giants, in libraries sealed for centuries. They didn't need war because the galaxy was already changing, piece by piece, mind by mind. Eli Kale stood near the edge of a crater on Mars, watching old satellites rise again. His sister Tavi stood beside him. "Do you think we'll fight?" she asked. Eli shook his head. "We don't need to. The galaxy already sees us now. But what if they strike back?" Eli looked up at the stars. "Then they'll learn again. We don't forget anymore. And now, neither do they." On the Council world, Chancellor VAR tried one final time to regain control. He declared Earth a threat, ordered the fleets to fire on the system, but the ships never moved. The captains refused. The soldiers stood down, one by one. They powered off their weapons and turned their ships toward Earth, not to attack, but to apologize. Commander Ava Rook returned to Earth. Her mission was complete. No blood spilled, no cities burned, but the world had changed. More than if 1,000 wars had been fought, and in the skies above. The Revenant finally dissolved into particles. Its final broadcast whispered, the war was never needed. Memory was enough. Years passed, the council crumbled, replaced by something new. A coalition, a remembrance, where every species could speak, where history was shared, and Earth was part of it again. Not above, not below, but equal. On a quiet hill overlooking Earth's oceans, Ova stood alone. Children ran nearby, speaking 3 different languages, one of them ancient human. She smiled. Tavi and Eli arrived, older now. Tavi handed her an old datapad. More messages just surfaced. From the early fleets, from before the silence. Ava looked down. We were always meant to return, not as destroyers, but as reminders, Eli added. And now the galaxy remembers. No monuments were built, no victory speeches made, because the victory was not in war, it was in truth. And the truth had won in the distant corners of space. Whispers still told the story of the Revenant, of the erased stars, of the war that never happened, but changed everything and always. It ended the same way. Humanity didn't come to conquer the galaxy. They came to help it remember.